Hello everyone, if you'd like to see my makes for the week, consisting of the Tea House top by Sew House 7. Now this is a top I was making for my daughter to see if she would like me to make her a linen dress in it. So that was just a tester, and I've made 2 baby dresses and I've finished the Genoa Bias Cut Skirt. If you'd like to see that, stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to all my subscribers and welcome to anybody who's new. First of all, let me thank the people who have bought me a coffee through my Ko-fi account. It is very much appreciated. Please like and subscribe, that would be fabulous. Now this week I made the Tea House top by Sew House 7. So that's the pattern there. And I actually made the top that is, glasses, this top here with the wider belt. Now I made it using this poly cotton. I'm sure it's poly cotton, I can't remember. Something I had in my stash anyway. Now this was for my daughter so she could see if she liked it and if it fitted her and if the size was correct. Now she lives a long way from me. I live in the country and she lives at the beach. So I have posted it to her. Now we'll insert photos. You noticed from the photos that you have to do a long basting stitch. When they do basting stitches in this pattern, they're recommending that you do long basting stitches. I would not do that again because it's giving you a slightly gathered effect. And I know that the fabric's poly cotton, so anything like that is going to make it look slightly gathered or a little bit puckered up. Even though I ironed it really flat, I didn't feel that it sat really flat. And then they want you to stitch in the ditch with it. I would not do that again. I would hand stitch that hole facing down all the way on the inside so that I could manipulate it so that it sat really flat. It's obviously going to sit very differently in a linen than it does in a poly cotton because it's a much thinner fabric, so much finer fabric. I just think if you're going to stay stitch something and they want you to leave really long tails on it so that you can pull it up if you need to, next time I'm just going to stay stitch it, or I will use my what I call stay stitching tape. So my iron-on interfacing tape instead, so that it just looks too puckery for me. It was only a toile. It is only in a cheap fabric. I knew she would choose this colour when I gave her some choices of, hey, we could make it in calico. If it was in calico, it would have sat flatter because it's a heavier fabric. And also, I think the ties are really wide once they come back around to the front. So my thought was, if she wants the wide ties to wrap around to the back, I will then taper the ties so that they're only about 1.5 centimeters wide when it gets back around to the front to tie up, because she is short in the waist. So sometimes when you shorten the waist and you're big busted, you don't want wide belts. So I have sent that to her. She hasn't received it yet because I think I only sent it yesterday. So she will receive that on Monday or Tuesday. So I sent that to her and I'll put in as many photos as I took of it. As far as the pattern goes, it's pretty easy to follow. The instructions were clear, you didn't have to guess anything. So happy with the pattern, just would not do that long stay stitching. if I do stay stitching, I usually do it on 2.2, which is what I usually sew on. So, and I made sure that I didn't stretch out the fabric as I sewed it. I probably just let it go through the machine itself, like you might when you're running a gathering stitch. That was a big mistake. I won't do that again with this dress. I had actually bought this dress with myself in mind, and I really like it. When I sewed the sleeves, it's got a band on the sleeve, and so they want you to sew the band onto the outside, turn it around to the inside, stitch in the ditch. But I actually sewed it on the inside and turned it around to the outside and top stitched it on the outside. I think if Abby wants one, and I'm happy to make her one, in the linen, I would actually do all of the sewing down of all the facings by hand so that it didn't have any visible top stitching, and that includes the hem. I'll see if she likes it, see if she thinks it fits. I know it will be big enough. So I'll see what she says and what she thinks, and if she wants a dress made out of that. Now, I know she wants a plain dress. They don't ever choose anything floral. Even when I had my student here yesterday teaching her, and we're making a wraparound skirt, that's the first thing we're making. She brought her mum's sewing machine and we fixed it up and got it working. It actually does very nice stitching. So when I said to her, and I showed her that leopard print pinafore that I bought from the op shop, and I said, would you ever wear anything like that? She went, not in that colour. I only wear plain things. So they only wear plain things. They wear t-shirts with writing and what I would have called in the old days a band t-shirt, but they just wear everything is in a plain colour. Whereas when I think of that top in this colour, to me it looks like a nurse's uniform or the pharmacy lady's uniform, because it's in that colour. And the colour really suits her, don't get me wrong, but I just think it's going to look like a uniform. And especially because it wraps around under the bust, and because it's got that like oblong yoke in the front, that's very uniformish to me. So I think she needs it in something different other than that blue colour. So we will see. In fact, I really like the colour that girl's got on, which is sort of a denim look linen. I think it would be really nice in that fabric. I know Abby will want to go for a blue, but we'll wait and see. None of them want anything that's patterned. The other things I made, well, this is a top that you wear actually with leggings or stretchy shorts, which I don't have any fabric to make because I would actually make light pink ones. And this is another little white dress that I put buttons on the backs of both of them. So you can see that's got buttons on the back, and this one's got buttons on the back. Now this was some fabric that I've had in my stash for so long. Oh, and by the way, it's the Nora Dress and Top by Oh Me, Oh My, and it's a size 12 to 18 months that I make for a tiny bit smaller than average 2-year-old. So this is that dress in this really gorgeous fabric. Now, as I said, this is a cotton fabric, but it's quite a nylon-y piece of lace. So the fabric comes with pin tucks in it, plus the lace. I have to get closer so you can see it. So it's pin tucks with the lace on it. So, and I didn't have very much of this. So I managed to get the dress out of it, and then what I had left over, I actually took the lace off and made some long lace strips. I actually enclosed So you can see here on the inside, and I just used some white cotton lawn that I had for little kids' dresses. It's so much easier. Fully lined the whole bodice. It's too fiddly with facings, and this one this dress does come with facings. And you remember the first one I made, I just did a bias neck and a frill on the top and a frill on the bottom, made out of the same fabric. This time I thought I'll just pop this little bit of lace on it. With the hem, I also used, I think I might have 2 pieces there because I ran out of lace because I didn't have enough fabric. And on the inside, you can just see that that's on the inside there, stitched up with the hem. So just a very simple dress, because I know that's what her mother will like. She's another one who only wants plain things made for her baby. And I couldn't find any nice little buttons, so I found these clear sparkly ones. So that's that dress. And this one was the sleeveless version. You can have a sleeveless version. So I did a sleeveless top. Just added a ruffle. So on the inside of the sleeve, I just enclosed that ruffle. Now I just made that up. I've made plenty of kids things with a ruffle on the sleeve. And so it's really just a quarter moon shape that you're making. So it's just that, and that edge is placed on the fold, and you hem the straight edge and you gather the curved edge. Very easy to do. And then I just gathered it to where I thought it should be on the dress. Try to make them in the same place on each side. And once again, enclose them. And I used the cotton lawn again to line the bodice. And I just used some little tiny pink buttons, some little tiny pink buttons that I had in my stash. But actually they're not that small. And so I thought Mia could wear this with probably some light pink coloured leggings. I don't have any plain colour that would be suitable for leggings, except probably white. And I didn't really want to make her white leggings. So I'm really happy with that. I know her mother won't really like it much because it's patterned. And she doesn't wear, she's another one, wants everything plain, even for a baby or a toddler. I don't know why. I would put my kids in that, but I'm probably daggy. So that's what I got made. I quite enjoy making the baby's clothes. It's a very different thing to be making, and you only need a tiny part of your cutting table to be able to cut out what you need. So it's actually really, really good. I also put some of the elastic in the bottom of this jumper. Now this is the one that I bought from the op shop, and I just ran a bit of elastic through the bottom. So you can see this area was sealed up, so that was obviously stitched all the way to the bottom, and so that area inside that hem is closed. So I just bypassed it on the outside, on both seams. Yes, and the rest of the channel was open, so I was able to run it all the way through the rest of it, and just skip those side seams a tiny bit. And I just ran it through with a bodkin and some not hat elastic, mask elastic. So quite a soft elastic. As you can see, it doesn't really do much. It's just going to stop it from stretching out. And then I finished my bias cut skirt. So really happy with how the hem turned out on this. I wish I'd had some thread that actually really matched, but I don't think it matters that much. And you can see that's the hem on the inside. It did drop. So this is what I cut off. These are the pieces, so you can see this is how much it dropped by. So these are the side edges. The side edges are not on the bias, just the front and the back, like centers are, which is why it drops down in that method. So it would have dropped down like that. And so I trimmed that off. And then I cut another 6 centimeters off to make it 6 centimeters shorter than what it was going to be, because it was literally ankle length. So really happy with that. And that was the Genoa Bias Cut Skirt. Now, last week I was talking about if you make it too tight across the tops of your legs, or you make it too tight across your tummy, any bulges you've got, it's going to make them stick out. So when making a bias cut skirt, now satin that I made it out is very unforgiving and shows every lump and bump you've got. So I tried to make sure that it didn't do that. It's still, you can see a little bit of a line because I'm old and I've had babies and lost weight and gained weight and lost weight, and so you end up with a lot of imperfections. Maybe you can only see them yourself, but you know they're there and you're trying to hide them. I actually found a top that really went with the skirt. Now that's the Zoe blouse by Atelier Jupe that I've got on with that. So that's the Zoe blouse, but it looks nice with the skirt because it's quite a narrow top. So if you make the Zoe, just be very careful and measure. And there's nothing wrong with measuring the pattern pieces that you've got when it's laid out on your table before you've even cut the pattern piece out or traced it off. You can measure that with a tape measure and go, yeah, no, I think I'm going to make a size up from that because it seems like it might be a bit firm once it gets past my waist. So I think it looks good with the skirt, one, because of the colouring of the Zoe blouse that I've got, and two, because it's quite narrow and it's a good length. So really happy with the skirt. And so now I have two things that I can wear with the skirt. I've got the short sleeve knit jumper that I bought from the op shop, put some elastic in, and I've got the Zoe blouse. So that was my makes for this week. The other thing I did was I cut out a blouse in this linen viscose from Spotlight. So it's actually, it's the all-in easy fit shirt, of course it is, but I've made it with short sleeves. And when I made the short sleeves, I also made a facing for the inside of the sleeves, which I will stitch down. I knew where I wanted the sleeve to come to, and then the sleeve is shaped, and so rather than fiddling around with the pattern, I had just turned it up to where I wanted it to be, and then I had just traced off a facing off the bottom section. So this is just a sleeve facing piece that I made, and I've cut two, and I've also cut a whole lot of bias binding so I can use that for the hem. I do prefer a bias bound hem on a shirt. I think it just makes it much neater and nicer. So I will be making that up this week and continuing on with my frock tails outfit. I have made the under section of it, and just thinking about the top layers for it. So I'll bring that to you when I have made that up. The other thing I was going to have a go at making this week is the Pepin Tote. So I've got this beautiful fabric. It's 100% cotton. It's slightly canvasy, but it's not overly stiff. And look at that pattern. I was going to make that tote bag in it. I got this fabric from the Data Society, because Kristen's got a lot of bags now, and I wanted to try that one out. Then I actually wanted to see if I would make it in a plain canvas or another bag in a plain canvas, because they also had these bag straps. Now that's not to go with this fabric, clearly, but you know, I thought even a tan waxed canvas bag is going to look fabulous with that strap. I just love this strap. That's why I need to buy it. And I'll put it in with my bag making things. I have made some bags before, and I've made bags many, many years ago, and patchwork beach bags and things like that. But it's a long time since I've made an actual bag. I've made plenty of boxes. I made the boxes for the, well, some people use them for dirty clothes baskets for their babies. They use them for soft toy boxes for their babies, because when your baby can first start to sit up and they grab a toy box, or they fall because they can't sit properly yet, you don't want them bashing their face in on the corner of a plastic box. So I had made one for Hannah with her dog on it and a matching cushion and stuff for her, you know, those rocking chairs they have in their babies' rooms to feed in. And then I made one for her girlfriend, because Hannah wanted me to make her one with the cushion and the soft toy box. And then I made one for my eldest daughter for her dogs to put their own toys in, soft toy box. So, and I think when Nadin was born and he's 9, I was making boxes, soft boxes, to go on the dressing table that you put nappies and lotions and all that sort of thing in. So I've made a lot of things like that recently, and of course the big Santa sacks. And so that's all I've been up to this week, besides having my student. Next weekend I won't be here because I'm going away on a little retreat. Hopefully the weather gets better. It's really sunny today, but we have had a lot of rain, and I see that Melbourne has flooded, and one of my grandchildren was having a birthday party somewhere, but the place got flooded, so she had to have it at home. Yeah, a lot of flooding in Melbourne and Victoria. Our tank's nearly full again after we half emptied it with the sewerage episode. Obviously they blast out your sewerage and then they have to run it for a long time. And I think we had it connected to the pump. And so the tank half emptied. So we turned the pump off. It's because we are on town water, but we have tank water as well. So if you have the tank running at the same time as town water, your water pressure is much better. And it's much nicer tasting water. I am wearing the Atelier Jupe Alana dress, and I make the size 40 and I make version B. I know what I was going to do to it that I haven't done to it, and that was stitch the elastic. So it has elastic in the back. So this is the one with the pleated front. So that's version B. And so it has elastic in the back. And that's a wide piece of elastic. And so I was going to stretch that out and stitch it down. The only thing I'd say is not the easiest dress in the world to get on. Once you've got it on, it's fine. Probably the one that's elastic all the way around is going to be a bit easier. But at the end of the day, the pleated one and the flat front band one are both quite fitted, and your elastic is not, it's not hugely big. So it's not a really wide dress. So it really only stretches out to here. It's really comfortable once you've got it on. It's a nice dress and it feels nice on. That's the Atelier Jupe Alana dress that I'm wearing. And the fabric is Eglantine et Zoe Flora Bordeaux Viscose, which I bought from the Data Society. And this, all of these Europeans viscose fabric are just beautiful. Everybody have a wonderful sewing week. Hopefully you get some sewing done. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.